What I have here to my side is called a Swift. And this is a really great knitting tool to have in your craft room, at home. It's just gonna help wind up these hanks and skeins really, really quickly. And if you have a ball winder already, then together they work amazingly. You're just going to be able to wind this up into a nice center pole ball to use to knit and crochet from in just a few minutes. So it makes the whole process from start to finish extremely fast. So if you're not familiar, if you buy a yarn that comes like this, it's referred to as a hank or a skein. I'm just going to open this up for you so you can see what it is. It's just big loops of yarn again and again. It's just like looped around each other. So if you have yarn that you buy and it comes like this, you don't want to start knitting off of this. It's going to turn into a really tangled mess and make it really, really a difficult process. So we have a couple things to make that easier. We have the Swift, like I mentioned, and the ball winder. Again, you can do this by hand, you know, you can have someone hold this and then you take it and you wind it by hand. So essentially these tools help you do this alone and it's a lot faster. So I'm just going to set this yarn aside for now and go over the Swift. So first of all, you're going to have the main component of your Swift here, and you're going to get a couple of metal screws. And the nice part about the Swift is, you know, the metal hardware that we have. And you can see these components inside here at the bottom and on the side. They're metal too, so you're not going to have any wear and tear on the wood itself for the screws actually. The shorter one is going to go into this middle part here. So I'm going to just insert this one here. And what this part does is it's going to hold the umbrella part of your Swift open and expand. So you want to leave this kind of loose. You want to be able to move this up and down to open it up at first. The next part, this is going to be to clamp onto your table the Swift. You're going to do the same thing, just insert the metal hardware. The longer one goes on the bottom. The nice part about this is too, you can see here on this screw, and it's the same for the shorter one too, it has this plastic stopper on it, and that's really nice. Again, it's going to avoid the wear and tear on the actual wood for the top part. And the same is true for the bottom part here. You're not going to have to worry about, you know, scratching up your nice living room or dining room table. The plastic stopper is on there to kind of protect both your furniture and the actual Swift too. So that's just an additional little bonus here. So you just want to keep turning it until you start seeing this come through the bottom part of your Swift here. So you can see. And then this is essentially, you use this to adjust it so you can clamp it onto your table. So anything this size and smaller, you'll be able to just clamp the Swift nicely onto your table. I'm just going to move this over here, and you just keep turning that screw until the Swift is in place, kind of nice and locked into place on your table here. So the next step is the top part. This is where you actually put your yarn around the Swift. Again, you want this to be loose so you can expand the umbrella part of the Swift. You kind of just move this up, and all the way at the top here, the circumference of it measures 68 inches around, which should be more than big enough to handle most hanks and skeins of yarn that you get. Personally, I like to start it a little bit of a smaller circumference that I know the hank is going to be. That's going to make it really easy to put your yarn around. So again, you want to carefully unwind this. You just place this carefully around the umbrella part of your Swift, and again, this is why I like to keep it smaller than the actual circumference of your skein of yarn, and then just carefully, making sure you don't want to drop this, you just keep sliding this up until your yarn is in place. And this is when you then turn the screw here, and it keeps it in place and it keeps it from falling down and crashing in on itself. The next thing you'll notice is all your skeins at one point, they're going to be tied up into a little figure 8. It's going to be tied up that way to keep it from tangling. This is again going to make the whole process of actually winding your yarn up a lot easier. So you want to get that untied. There we go. And again, if you want, you can do this by hand, the other part, or if you have, you know, a ball winder, that's going to make the process a lot faster, a lot easier too. They both work really great together. Again, you could wind this up by hand into a center pull ball. But I have my ball winder all set up already. I'm just going to thread it through, get it all set up, and then you're ready to start winding. So you can see I just keep turning this around, and your swift is going to move nicely for you to wind up your yarn either by hand or with the Knit Picks ball winder. So you just keep moving that around, and it's just going to keep circling around and around until your ball is wound up and ready for you to use. So again, it makes the whole process from start to finish just a couple minutes, and you get a nice center pull ball when you use it with the Knit Picks ball winder. So if you have hanks and skeins, this is how the swift can help you make your yarn a lot more manageable and easy to use.